S2400s at home. So I've just sort of immersed myself in it. And just to give a preview, the things I was working on was MIDI. Hey everyone, hope everyone's okay, all doing well at the end of the year, end of 2021. What a year it's been. Not sure if this is going to be my final video for the year. Yeah, maybe I will, but what I'll do is I'll combine some elements, because I think I'll be filming from 2 locations. So I'm in the Mindlab at the moment, in Mindlab version 5 or incarnation 5, and I've got most of my, well, I've got some of my equipment here, but I've got some at home as well, because I've been working from home. So this might be a bit of a mixture, so you might see different locations. One thing I have to say from an earlier video is I had originally got rid of my Tracklib account. Not because anything was wrong with it, but I just wasn't finding what I wanted on there. And I was using my trusty Splice and Loopcloud to get any samples that I needed and stuff like that. And that's been fine. So I've got a whole selection there, just waiting to go for EP, singles, releases and everything else. So, and then I went back and thought, I kept seeing all these videos popping up on Tracklib. And the one reason why I came off is it's when I was going through it, I was finding stuff, but it wasn't, I was having to dig too deep. I mean, we do dig in the crates and stuff, and we go record shops like back in the day. We used to dig, we used to guess and think, okay, yep, read the credits on an album, and reference people that you used before, see who was playing, pick up music by them just to see what it was like. And you know, some of it was by chance, and then you might accidentally come on a absolutely brilliant loop or sounds and things like that. At least with Tracklib, you can preview all your sounds and stuff before you purchase. So I went back on. I mean, I had to say, yeah, as I said, I've been watching some videos and clips and stuff like that, and I thought, let me go back onto Tracklib, and I've discovered a whole ton of stuff. Made all my collections. I've got about 5 collections. What was it? I've got jazz loops, reggae loops, epic loops, funk and boogie, house, hip hop breaks, and I've got loops and bits and pieces all saved in them, and that's just in one night. So yeah, I've reinstated my Tracklib account, and I found some really good stuff. So and funnily enough, for a project which is upcoming, which is my own one, the sounds on here are ideally suited, so that's worked out quite well. So I can combine them with things I've already got. So I take back what I said on Tracklib. There's a lot of stuff up there now. Maybe it's because I left it alone for a while and things have been uploaded and I've been able to dig deep and find things that I wanted. So that's worked quite well for me. So yeah, I'll be using that. And I can't even give you a preview because of the copyrights and stuff like, well, I suppose I could, but I'll be giving away the loops that I've got. So yeah, that's one tool I'll be using. These loops will be layered. I think the reason why it works for me now, because some of these loops are, you know, some of these tracks, shouldn't say loops, some of these tracks were cut like 60s, 70s and stuff like that. So they got their old, dusty, warm sound. And now that I have my ISLA Instruments S2400 and I'm creating loops and breaks on it, which are nice and old, 12-bit, crusty, dusty, works quite well. So I've got this picture in my mind of how these loops will sound once I put the patterns on them, because I spent a lot of time now with my S2400. That's where the other part of the video is going to come up, so watch out for it. It's a little bit, it'll probably be a little bit later on. S2400's at home. So I've just sort of immersed myself in it. And just to give a preview, the things I was working on was MIDI, and that's why I took it home. It was bugging me. I couldn't get it to work properly. I don't know whether it's, and I think I mentioned this in early videos that I'll be covering that. But I've managed to do MIDI tracking on it. So MIDI audio, tracked out each of the loops and samples and things like that into their individual tracks. And I've got that running through Ableton at the moment. I haven't tried all of the other platforms because, I mean, I've got Pro Tools, I've got Logic, I've got, what else have I got? Gosh, Reaper, FL Studio. Machinery won't work, but anyway, so I've done that. I've also imported into the S2400 my sample packs, actually funny enough, from where is it, Machina. And the reason I've done that, I mean, I've had Machina Studio for years now, and I went through this phase, as I always do, with just immersing myself in it and getting a whole load of sound packs, of which I had at one point I had everything what was on their site. That's probably not the case now, but I had a lot, and well, all the sample packs anyway. And so I thought, I wonder what these sound like if I run it through my S2400. And that's the thing, it's like you get sound packs at one time period and they work on that machine, and it's nice and clean. What's it called? The machine is nice and clean, and it gives, but the sound packs are really good, and the loops are done and everything like that. And I thought, well, I wonder how that we sound on my S2400. Put them in, and I went, this can work. This will work really nice. So that's going to be a good one to watch out for, how I utilize those sounds on the S2400, because I mean, some of them are cut clean. There's a big mixture of stuff, and I can dirty it up and everything like that to get the effect that I'm after, which is going to be really fun. It's going to be, I think over this holiday period, I'm going to be doing some beats late at night when everyone's gone to sleep, and then I can just get on with it and make some recordings. I think I'm going to get my EP done first, and I've got a single coming out. That's the pop one I had on the last video, commercial track. So I'm going to get that done. I've got mixes to do off that, actually. I've got some house mixes to do, which I haven't finished yet. But yeah, so in amongst all the other things I'm doing, I will be doing that. But yeah, watch out for a 4-track EP. That will be under Harry Mindgame. That's a me project. Anything hip hop will always be me. Or anything soulful house or things will be me under that name. And for Afro house, deep house, it will be Carbon Deep. Anything commercial will be Vanderpool's World or September Child or something like that. So those are the aliases. There it is. I've given it away now, so it's out there. Such is. But anyway, that's fine. So what I will do, as I said, thank you, Tracklib. I take it back. I love what you're doing, and what I do like is the way you loop stuff. I can just click onto, so I can do like a 2-bar loop, a 4-bar loop, an 8-bar, and get the sounds immediately. That's really cool. I like that. Hang on, let me just show you quickly. Quick look. That's all you're getting. So giving away my sounds. Yeah, I mean, you can just loop it up and you can just hear how it sounds. I mean, you can do that on Loopcloud. I mean, Loopcloud's got tracked. You can track out, and so you can actually build your track in Loopcloud and then see how it sounds even before you've even purchased anything, which is really cool. But I like what Tracklib's done. So yeah, Tracklib, I like the way it loops, and you can just get 2-bar, 4-bar segments and stuff, and you can time it and you can do all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. So I'm happy with that. That's going to be something I'm going to use a lot. So I like the way you can just try things out. It's nice. So well done, Tracklib. I mean, the tool, I mean, God, if this was like 20 years ago, having all these tools available, my gosh, things would have been absolutely brilliant. So you youngsters out there, utilize this stuff. It's brilliant. Having things like Tracklib, Loopcloud, Splice, You don't even have to leave your house. I mean, we used to go out and they used to go, well, I'm based in London, so it would be, at the time, it would be off to Notting Hill, go to Record Exchange, go in there, dig through the crates, pull out music. Or, you know, you might have, I don't know, whatever amount you got on you, £20, £50. Then you might see something, you think, oh shit, I've already gone past my budget. Take that track, hide it in another section. So you might find something in the soul section, put it in the rock section, hide it, come back to it the next day or next week when you've got some money, dig it out. If someone else hasn't found it, usually they haven't, then you go through and then you can go and buy it. And that's what we used to do, dig in the crates. I used to go to Honest John, go in there, get all my jazz stuff. It was brilliant. When you used to just go in the basement, dig through all the tracks, and that's where I learned reference to other musicians and things like that. Whereas now, I mean, I do miss that because that was my Saturday afternoon. Whereas now it's about you can go online. You can still dig in there are less record shops, but they are still around. But at least now you can just go online and find what you need and pull it up. You can pull it up on your phone. It's dead easy. So you've got the best of, I wouldn't say best of both worlds, the best of all worlds. You've got this opportunity to find whatever you want, wherever it is, or even test stuff out or search for something, find it, get the reference, and then go off and find the vinyl. What I do sometimes is I'll go online, I'll find the digital copy, then I'll still order the vinyl and sample the vinyl, which is what I've done recently. I found an old Motown record, which I heard a loop. I thought, I know that track. That's from something I used to DJ years ago, a soul track. And went on to Amazon, purchased the vinyl, got it sent to me, and then I just recorded it, looped it up. Brilliant. That's it. So you got everything. It's there. Make use of it, you youngsters, kids. And I have been checking out some of the productions and what people are doing online, and it's absolutely amazing. So the creativity is there. I know it doesn't seem like it when you see some of the stuff going out at the moment, but the creativity is there. They are there, and those, the kids are definitely doing everything and making some good stuff. But what I like what they're doing, they're monetizing their own thing, and they're finding their own way. As opposed to going traditional route, which is getting signed and things like that. They're going off and earning their own money. They're creating their own sources of income. It's great. Well done. So that's it. You'll see some videos and stuff like that. I'm going to chop and change on this video. So what you will see is me doing some edits and bits and pieces at home and stuff. So I'm going to put it all together, and then that'll be it. So enjoy, have a great holiday period, probably see you on the other side, and have fun. So there you go. It's been a good year. It's been an interesting year. It's been a good year. Things have happened, as we know. I won't get into all that because everyone's heard everything what's going on throughout this year and throughout last year. So make the most of it. Look after yourselves, everyone. Stay healthy and have fun creating. Okay, see you later. Hey guys, right, I'm at the home Mindlab, as I said I would, and I'm going to take you through the S2400 MIDI setup. So this was the one part which took me a little longer to work out. I'm going to create a new file. Hang on a second. New live set. Don't save. Here we go. So I'm going to start from scratch on this one. This better work. Let's see how it goes. So what we can run MIDI audio through your DAW. I've got it set up for the Ableton Live. And I've got my Ableton Live and push here as well. So I'm just going to show you the part I was working. This is the part was really fun for me, or really interesting, and the reason why is you can just, rather than having to sample, take it out, copy it and paste it into live, I can just set up each pad on the Ableton Live, and the audio comes straight into it, which is really good. I mean, I've seen some videos on it. It didn't work initially for me, but I'm not sure whether it was just me not restarting the machine and then it picked it up like the ASIO drivers. I had to go in and just check that everything was set up fine. So just starting from scratch, let's have a quick look. We had system preferences. Let me do this first and I'll come back to that part next. So I've got the default, I've got 2 MIDI, 2 audio. What I'm going to do is create, we've got 8 pads, so I'm going to create 8 audio channels. So I'll do it a quick way, Command T in my Mac. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. I've already got a pattern set up in here. It's not using all of the 8 pads, but I can tap the pads just to show you that they're active on here. So once that's done, then I will, on here, I'll go into monitor on audio 1. I'll tell you, I'll name them first. Rename. I'll just put S2400 1. And I'll copy that. And then that's that. Rename to rename 3. Rename 4. Rename 5. Rename 6. Rename 7. Rename 8. Not necessary, but just then you can see which is which. Then I found if I put the monitor, if I play the, nothing there, saw a light flash up, but anyway, we'll take you through the settings. If you go to live preferences, the audio input I've got as ISLA instruments, 10 in, 10 out. So I could actually add to another channel. So the way I've got it set up is, if I come into here, so if on Ableton, I'll go into the MIDI preferences. I have got input and output as ISLA instruments. So if I wanted to, I could use this as a controller as well. On the output, it doesn't matter. I mean, you could play around with these settings, but the main thing is here on the MIDI ports, I've got the ISLA instruments ticked. So track, sync, remote, ISLA instruments, track, sync, remote, MP. I could probably take this off and it'll probably work as well. But essentially, I've got these ticked so that it recognizes the S2400. Go back to, let's have a quick flick through to make sure there's no other settings. Yep, that's it. Go back to audio. On audio input, ISLA instruments, and then it will definitely pick it up. Your output could be whatever it is you want. I've got it coming through my Mac screen because I've got an audio out on there. So if I just want to quickly listen to something, I can run it through my screen. But your audio input, your audio output could be anything. I've got a PreSonus audio box as well. I could run it through there, then I could pick it up on my headphones. But this is the only one which is connected to speakers at home at the moment. I haven't got external speakers set up at this configuration here right now. So I've just got it output into the display so I can hear it. And the input is ISLA instruments. So I'll come back to this just to show what happens when it's not on. The other thing is monitor. So if I try to play it, nothing. If I put monitor in on all of them, and that's on all 8 channels, then it should, there we go. So that's channel 2. There is an issue I found with channel 1. I think it's to do with the way I've set this up, but I'll come back to that. It's 2. I know. Right, the other part is on your channel settings. here we go. So channels here, you select the number. So channel 1, channel 2, channel 3. Let's just make sure I've got this lined up. So S2400, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you need to set your MIDI channels in accordance with what's going on for each pad. So each pad has got its own MIDI channel, sorry. 6, 7, and 8. If I create another track, so if I call this one 9 and 10, so I've got, if I can find it, let's see if I've got it displayed here, because what I did, I set up 9 and 10, I'll come back to it, as a pair, and rather than individual tracks, because it just repeats, it's just a stereo output. So if I play something here, now that's synced, so going back to MIDI settings, preferences, audio, go to MIDI, it's picking up, all the MIDI settings are here, hence the reason why it's synced up. Now on the S2400, if I go to clock sync, internal, and I can set this to USB B, click on there. Now this will, even though it's followed, I think because of the MIDI, this is sending the MIDI clock to this, and it synced it. What I noticed, I had this set to internal and it still worked, but really if you want to set it up correctly, that should be set to MIDI USB B. So let's try that again. Right, so when I set this to, it will sync, but it'll be, well, I say sync, it will, if you don't set the USB B, then this will pick it up, but it won't play in time. When you set USB B on here, it will sync to the tempo on this machine. So what happened was, I played it on here, but it was running the tempo on the S2400, which was probably 90 beats per minute. As soon as I set it to USB B, it picked up the tempo from live, because now this was being slaved. So if I drop the tempo on live to 90 and press play, let's see what happens. Back down to 90, so that's running. This is in sync. Okay, let's stop that. Let's play around, see if there's another pattern on here. I'll play it from here. So there you go. The channels are running. You could solo them. And that's 9 and 10. No, that's channel 6. So the good thing is, so I'll try recording. Let's see what happens. Just check that it's clear. Just so we've got a complete understanding of what's happened here. So if I press play, let's record. Full start. Click here. Let's see if this works. Okay, so we're not recording. Let's work out why. So playing there, Ableton's playing. It's probably something I'm doing on this. Here we go, let's see. Have I selected each channel to record? So let's let's record. Let's have a play first and see what happens. Here we go. Silly me, didn't select the channels to record, just press record, so it didn't know what to record. So now I've selected the channels. I did command record, so I could select each one. And now it's recording audio into Ableton. That's really where I wanted to get to. So it wasn't armed before. Excellent. That's right, really what I wanted to demonstrate, just to make sure that we knew how to record audio into Ableton. Excellent. So that's that. Let's flick back and let's check this. Right. Let's try something now. Let's see if we can get it to just nicely lock up and record. So now everything's armed. We're starting from 111, so starting from the beginning. Let's overwrite everything we've got so far. Let's see what happens. Here we go. That's it. Hope that helps everyone. This is in Ableton, obviously. Might have to try this out in Logic, probably Pro Tools as well. Even though usually generally my workflow is Ableton, Logic, and all the other workhorses, and then dump them into Pro Tools for mixing, mastering, and stuff like that. Even though recently I have mixed in live, and that worked out okay. It's just that I had a track had some Ableton stems and stuff like that, and I just decided to stay in Ableton because it's already set up. There's nothing else I needed to add, just make it sound good. And then I did master. I mastered in Isotope and I did a master in Pro Tools. But hey, generally the workstations, you can do anything. It just really depends on how well you know each one. I just know Pro Tools fairly well, or better than some. When it comes to actually doing the sound, I'm more comfortable in Pro Tools, I should say. So there you go. It's recording, doing a loop. Well, say doing a loop. It's do that. Click out of chord mode. Let's go back. Let's see what's going on. Switch back quickly. Just a little button here. That's it. There we go. So then it is up to you what you want to do next and how you want to manipulate it. Let's take off these recorded tracks. And I think we are pretty much done. So I hope that helped everyone in terms of recording audio, and I hope that made sense. If you've got any questions and queries, please feel free to drop them in, and we can carry on from there. But that's the part I've been working on. So syncing. So let's just do a quick recap. Let me go to. Let's have a quick peep on configuration. We had, so in live, preferences, audio input, ISLA instruments, make sure you've got that. My driver type, because it's a Mac, is core audio. There's nothing else there. And that automatically, I mean, with this, it automatically picked this up. So that's the good thing about the Mac, in terms of it will pick up your devices without having to configure drivers. I think on Windows you'd have to have ASIO drivers and stuff like that. and then you need to just make sure those are configured correctly. This is what I wanted to show you: input configuration and output configuration. Sorry, I missed it earlier. So on output, it's just a stereo out, but on the input, so you've got ISLA instruments on your input device. Output device I've got as display audio. That's my Mac screen, just that it's got the speakers built in. Could be anything, doesn't matter what it is, just so that you can listen to it. On the input configuration, I've got these channels set up. So mono inputs 1 and 2, so that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could do singular outputs for 9 and 10, but I've got them as stereo stereo inputs, because it just, you can record each channel and then you can have the whole thing recorded as a stereo pair as well, which is great, because then I can take it, sample it, loop it back in, play around with it, do all sorts of stuff there. So you can get the stereo output as well as having each individual output. And that's your setup in your link, tempo and MIDI preference on Ableton. Then I've got control surfaces as push, because it's here, and I've got input and output listed here as ISLA instruments. It just means if I want to do anything, I can be a bit more flexible with it. And then I've just got the MIDI ports ticked, so that I can go in and out of ISLA instruments. So in on ISLA instruments, all ticked; out, all ticked. Haven't played around with each individual setting. You can probably fine tune these to your preference. This worked for me. I was happy. Job done. And that's it. The other thing which I found you need to remember is on the monitor input, I put the monitor in. Let's see if I can play. Yeah, if I set the monitor in, once the monitor was on input, it read the S2400, and then that was it. When it was on, I didn't try it on auto. It'll probably work. Well, it may not work actually. Let's see what happens. Well, now it's playing it's probably playing the samples from here. But anyway, so that's it. Once you've got that, you're good. One thing I haven't done is, how do I bring these to, hang on a second, here we go. No, that's not it. Let's do auto on all of these, see what happens. I'm just curious now to see. Here we go. Right, so I've put those back to auto, so now it'll probably just play. Oh, there's no input. So this is showing the recording saved, and you can play around with your recording. You can tweak the level. Ooh, yeah, you can tweak the levels, bring it in, do all sorts of stuff with it. Do your crossfades, or anything you want. You can play around. The audio is recorded. But if I flick back here and I do play, then I can hear it coming through my headphones, which I've got connected to my ISLA. Hear it there. But it's not on here. So I'll leave it in play. You can see it displayed. You know it's doing something, but it's not monitoring. So if you want to monitor it, click your monitor input. Not on that one. Oh yeah, that one. This just enables you to monitor it, obviously, via Ableton. And that's it. So there you go. All done. All good. I'll probably do another video. As I'm learning it, I'm going to do more videos on this. This is really good. Oh, the one other thing to remember here is your settings. So if you do file, let's see, sync, do file, yeah, so shift sync takes you to sync input. On your clock source, when you go into sync settings, make sure it's USB B, not USB host. USB host will bring up a drive on your on your computer. And then I've got clock in, internal. Usually it's just set to internal when I'm just playing around with the machine in standalone mode. You've got MIDI DIN, MIDI USB-B, that's the one I was using. USB host, which will hook you up to the computer. So once you do clock in, which will be CV clock, and you can sync, which is really great. I've done that live, that worked really well. Locked up with my modular synth perfectly, absolutely great. There's a video on that one. Check on my YouTube, and you'll see a video related to that. And that was a great night out. I mean, I only had this a few weeks, and I thought I'm going to take it and just play it and see what happens, and it played really well. Now obviously now it's a bit better, where I can run loops and do chops and samples and run that alongside my modular, and whatever configuration you want, you can do more with it. So but I really wanted to test it out and just to see, but the sound was amazing, absolutely no doubt about it. Even I noticed recording, I had the sample, I've done samples, I didn't want to do it here because I'll get a copyright strike, but I had a sample running in Ableton, and then I used the USB host to copy it to the to my S2400, and what happened was I copied all the sounds, put it on here, played it back in here, and the sound was different. It was this fat, I had to turn the levels down actually just a little bit. It just had this fat sound loop on there coming from this machine, in comparison to getting the sample straight from the computer. So it does add some color to it, which is what you want, and that's why you've got the machine. So I'll see if I can find it actually. I don't need to save that, and delete, don't need that. Let's see if I can, I can't remember what state I left this in. So this is something I'm working on. I'll do a couple of seconds and hopefully I should be okay. And if I load up that project, so go in, load project. Okay, that's loaded. Those are the drums for it. But on bank B, I've got the loop. I won't go onto that just yet. So if I do play, let's do file, preferences, just make sure everything's set up okay. Yep, it's all good. And that's fine. Let's have a look at what's going on now. If I do file sync, USB-B, see what happens now. It's a bit out of sync actually, it just needs to fine tune the sample, but I had something running. That's all I can play. The sound on this is amazing coming from this machine, because I had a comparison of the loop running from the Ableton, and I had a loop running from the 2400, and the 2400 loop, even though it went back into it, so it came out, went in here, back into here as a audio file, just had this fat, rich fat sound to it. That sounds not a technical aspect, but it just sounded meaty. So this does make a difference. But anyway, so then you can play around with it. You can go in and out. You can have a sample running here, take it off, put it in here, chop it up, do what you want to do with it. You can go into loop, slice, multi-mode, and do all sorts of stuff here. Oh, it's not done. And that's it. So you can do all sorts. Anyway, that's it from me. I know it was because it was on bank. Let's see, so if I go multi-mode. Oh yes. Cool. Have fun, guys. A bit more information on the 2400. So there you go. The MIDI aspect is really good. You will have to tweak it and just make sure your loops are aligned, and you can do all sorts with it, but it works. That's the important thing. You can run your MIDI audio straight into your device. As I said, I've only done it with Live at the moment. I'm sure it's going to be something very similar to Logic. If I try it out in Logic and it's working and I've got a couple of loops running, then I'll do another video on Logic and I'll do another one on Pro Tools or something like that. Let's see how it goes. All right. So that's it for the minute. Have fun, enjoy, and that's it for me for the year, I think. Anyway, see you later, guys.